Greetings, Earthlings. I am Aaron, and this is Ryan.
I am Ryan.
We are the Moona Knights. We live on our moon base in the dark side of the moon.
Dropping that bass.
Our race is hundreds of years beyond yours, and we've outgrown the need for things such as air, or water, or even pornography.
Don't need no tatas. No.
Damn straight.
Aw, hell yeah.
But now we face a grave threat from your idiot of a president and his attempt at a space force.
More like space farce.
Good one, Ryan. And if you folks want to have us keep trash-talking the orange one, then please visit patreon.com/evacstation. For less than the cost of the duct tape and cardboard he'll likely use for his inferior rockets, we can make more videos bashing his illogical human brain.
And talk about those trash-ass Earth movies.
Alright, I suppose that's a thing we do here too. It's the only entertainment we get here on the moon, as we've grown beyond the need for movies here.
In space, no one can even hear the movie.
Also a fair point. Help reinforce our lunar glory over your flat Earth by donating to patreon.com/evacstation.
Now, on to your pitiful podcast.
Welcome to the After Credits cast. They said it couldn't be done. We're broadcasting from the dark side of the moon. And what's more startling is we found those missing children from the border camps. This is where Trump lost them. I knew they couldn't be far. Just another day on the job for Ryan Mikados and Aaron Waseskuramuchi.
Oh, God.
We got very topical this time around. And this week's song, I did last week's song, I did. This week's song is Moon River, the Bayonetta 2 remix, because it's so damn beautiful.
It really is. I miss Bayonetta.
Can't wait for Bayonetta 3! It's coming, man! That'll be one of the Switch games I get day one, hands down.
Oof. I still have to beat Bayonetta 2.
Shame. Are you playing on the Wii U, or did you get the Switch version?
I'll have to get the Switch version. I had it on Wii U, and then I sold everything from my Wii U to get my Switch, so I'll have to get that.
That's fair. But definitely one of my favorite Platinum games. I know other people aren't as hip to it. They like Metal Gear Revengeance, but I personally think Bayonetta's just a more fun character. So
I loved Bayonetta 1. Honestly, the only reason I didn't beat Bayonetta 2 is just because I had no time.
I totally feel you. Okay, so this week's episode, we're talking about the Tale of Princess Kaguya. And there's a lot of history behind this one, actually. It's very interesting. I'm hoping that will enlighten a lot of you people today. Before we get into that, though, Ryan, what you been watching? I'm excited to talk about mine. I can't wait to hear yours.
Well, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it earlier, so if I have, please forgive me. But I have become a huge fan of a podcast known as Critical Role.
This does sound familiar, sure but are you listening to new stuff, or are you still on season 1?
No. I actually started on season 2, but my former roommate, was a huge fan of ever since season 1, and he had been telling me more and more stuff about it. And finally, when season 2 started, I said, you know what, I can forego watching hundreds of about 100 or so of 3-4 hour podcasts and just start fresh with it. I think they just released episode 30, and god damn, it's really good.
Now, I heard recently on my Google News feed that a recent episode, some shenanigans went down where the heroes didn't all come out ahead. Is that true? What's you know what's going on with that one?
That is true. It's true. Spoilers, guys.
I'm like way behind. I want to finish season 1 because I really like the story going on. But I probably won't remember this by the time I get to it.
Yeah, but spoiler alert
For anyone else, yeah.
One of the the character played by Taliesin Jaffe, Molly Mock, passed away, and it was really, really sad because essentially 3 of the group, they all had conflicts that would take them out for like a long period of time. One, Ashley Johnson, because she's a fucking super famous star and is filming The Blind Spot with NBC. Her filming schedule meant that she was going to have to be taken away. And Laura and Travis, who are husband and wife on the show, actually had a child.
Shit.
They were out for a couple weeks.
Shout out to those two. I love those guys. They're part of my favorite characters on the show, actually.
They're super good. They're so cool. They're so damn cool. But it was like the week or so after everybody had gone, Matt staged it so that they were actually all kidnapped by slavers, and so the next week they went to try and track them down on the road, and they ambushed the slavers. But the slavers, one of which in particular, the leader, was way more powerful than they realized. And a combination of real bad rolls led to Molly's demise, and it was super fucking sad.
I feel really that. Sad. I feel that. We had a session recently in Nicole's campaign, actually, where so I was not feeling my wizard character. I don't hate him, but I wanted to take a break from him. You know what I mean? And so I pushed Nicole. Or I guess I not really push. I threw the idea to Nicole. Hey, I had this idea for a ranger that uses dinosaurs. Can I maybe have that show up for a bit and see how this plays out? And if it doesn't work out, we can find a way to bring my other character back down the road. And she's like, sure, we'll give it a shot. And through a combination of bad rolls and people making decisions that didn't quite line up with what she had in mind, we kind of had to force the story a little bit, which sucked. And I feel bad because I sort of took the initiative on that. So what happened was, we were fighting like these undead characters. I'm not going to go into details because I don't think she revealed their true nature. But we're fighting these undead like sorcerers, so to speak, and they out-leveled us, but it wasn't super clear to everybody quite yet. But one character healed one of their downed allies literally to full health with just one potion, like one move. So I'm like, okay, this is going to drag on for a long time if they keep doing that shit. So my wizard character, who was romantically involved with one of the enemies prior to this whole thing, decided to give himself over, saying, "Hey, to the heroes, hey, you guys go get bigger guns and come back. I'm gonna stay here and give myself up for these people and just see if I can slow them down at all." Danny didn't seem like she was too keen on it at the time. I don't know how it'll play out come Friday for the next session. But my new character, I'm hoping, jives well with everybody else. We'll see how it goes. I'm very curious to see, because Nicole, while she was cool with the switch up, was not happy with how it ended up going, mostly because she felt it was forced. So I'm hoping we can write ourselves out of the hole and do something cool with it.
All right.
I first should get to my week real quick. I'll try to keep brief here. So I've been getting to a new manga recently, Ryan. I think you know what it is.
I think I know what it is too.
So I have started reading My Hero Academia. And I can see why it's popular. I am now on chapter 85. Since I spoke to you last week.
Yeah. That makes sense.
A lot of people. So when I mentioned to my buddy Rob, not the Robbie you know, but a different guy. I know too many people named Rob. when I mentioned him how far I was, I mentioned the arc I was in, and he thought I was like 120 chapters in. I'm like, no, that's way too far. I'm only at like 70. He's like, oh, that's way different than what I thought it was going to be.
Wait, so what actually is happening in the arc?
Right now, the pro heroes are breaking into the villain HQ to save Bakugo.
Okay, that's excuse me. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good thought. You know what? Actually, you are.
I'm almost up to the anime, aren't I?
Yeah, like you're almost at the anime. The anime is a little bit beyond that, because like that operation happens, something big happens, the aftermath happens, and then there's something that happens. You're not that far. What I would say, you're about halfway through season 2 in the anime.
Season 2? I thought it was on season 3. Shit.
There are only 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn there was a third one, because I've heard a few YouTube videos talking about it, but maybe they were just speaking about the upcoming season 3. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait. Am I dumb? Am I dumb?
I'm not gonna say it. I just got into this. I have less knowledge than you do.
I might be dumb. Hold on. Give me.
Well, I'll vamp real quick. So while Ryan's looking up shit, my favorite hero of the series is probably actually Tokoyami. I love Birdman and his weird like shadow thing. It's the coolest fucking shit ever. For those who don't know, he's a guy who looks like a bird almost, like Falco from Star Fox, but like black. And he can
revelry in the dark.
Yeah, and he can summon a shadow beast of sorts to fight alongside him. The catch is, the lighter out it is, the weaker it is, but he has more control over it. The darker out it is, though, like the less light that he's exposed to the shadow beast, the more powerful it gets, and the harder it is to control. So there's a fine balancing act, and in one of the most recent chapters, it went full-on berserk, and it was so cool to see. I loved it.
Yeah, it was super good. I was ever since when they debuted his power, it was just like, wait, so that means he can't really do things at night unless things are horrible. Oh shit! And then something went down at night, and it was just like, here we go.
I will say though, Midoriya's plan to bring down the Shadow Beast and help save the other 2 guys, pretty baller move. I liked it. It was this has got some clever writing to it. I like it.
Man, this kid is gonna be the greatest hero of all time. He's gonna be the greatest hero of all time.
Assuming his arms don't fall off.
Yeah, and you were correct. I am dumb. It is currently season 3. So you are halfway through season 3 in terms of where you are at the story. And it's really good.
And I'm only about halfway through the manga.
Yeah. I think like what I love about My Hero Academia is it takes common shonen tropes and setups that are really enjoyable to watch, and it keeps all of the really enjoyable shit about shonen and about this type of setting, but then it actually takes those like dumb things about it and flips them on its head and uses that as an opportunity to go deeper into the character. Like My Hero Academia is really it's really a drama. It's a drama with a shonen jacket on, where it has like a couple of really kick-ass fights and a lot of power shenanigans and comedy, but at the core of it, you're talking about this kid's burning desire to be a hero, and you're talking about a society that is asking the question, what does it mean to be a hero? And are you truly heroic if you're getting paid for it? And what this growing presence of heroes does to people who don't fit in and who kind of fall to villainy, how they're affected by it. It asks really deep questions, and it talks about them while also being really awesome and having an American-based fucking superhero that names all of his moves after American cities.
It's pretty cool.
The fucking best. It's the best.
And I will say before we get too deep into this, because we need to move on, is that I really do appreciate the I'd appreciate noticing the similarities this has to one of my other favorites, Naruto. I know it's not a mirror image. I know that it's not one-to-one, but I do see a lot of similarities, and I don't hate it for that. I actually do appreciate it because it's like, okay, you're Kakashi in this series, you're Sasuke. I can kind of digest you guys quicker knowing those basic tropes about you. And I like how they spin them in a way that makes them unique here.
Yes!
So it's good. It's really good. It's not my favorite, though, but it's good. I like it.
Hold on to those comparisons, and then as the story continues on, and those characters that you're looking at, it's just like, oh, well, he's obviously Sasuke, or oh, well, he's obviously Kakashi. As they start to get deeper into those characters, then look back at their typical shonen counterparts. It will really make you appreciate.
Oh no, I
decisions
imagine
that they make.
I
It's
imagine.
really-
I love the ability to compare a lot of the protagonists of shonen anime to Goku in particular, because he's like the measuring stick of shonen heroes, and it's kind of interesting to see how they all stack up and at what point they deviate, because it's just a good measuring stick, because he's the one who pretty much started all of shonen anime here in the West for us, so it's just interesting, you know?
Yeah, no. That's a good point.
Man, we've been talking about not the right anime for a while now, so let's move on. And no, shut up. It's still a SummerSlam, and I know a lot of you are seeing the snow right now. Maybe I can't predict the weather that far out, but I can predict this week's movie, and it's The Tale of Princess Kaguya, directed and produced by Isao Takahata in 2013. His first film since The Yamadas, if you couldn't tell by the art style.
Yep.
It would also be his last film due to his recent death in April of this year, 2018.
Oh no.
Well, he was 82, 84. He was up there. This adaptation of one of Japan's first narrative tales has grossed a worldwide total of $25,170,000. The English dub features a few notable voices such as James Marsden, Amy Steenburgen, Darren Criss, Dean Cain, Chloe Grace Moretz, and the Godfather himself, James Caan.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to be in this. Shit. Another Ghibli film just shy of an Oscar, but it still went home with a few dozen awards or so, including, I'm not going to list them all here, Best Animated Feature from the Asian Pacific Screen Awards and the Boston Society of Film Critics, among many others, and Best Art Direction and Director from the Tokyo Anime Awards.
Yeah. Nope. That definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then Ryan, I believe you have a bonus fact for me, right?
Yes. In fact, I do have a bonus fact. We're gonna get a little dark and focus more in on Isao Takahata. Since his passing, there have been some rather unsettling reports of his behavior behind the scenes. Ghibli producer Toshio Suzuki has said that Isao was difficult to work with, and this may have led to the death of a colleague, Yoshifumi Kondo, from Whisper of the Heart. After the man finished work on Whisper of the Heart, Suzuki visited him and was told by Kondo that Takahata tried to kill him with his latest project. In fact, Kondo said the thought of Takahata made him tremble, but he continued working with the director on Princess Mononoke. Sadly, Kondo grew ill shortly after he finished working on the movie before passing at 47 years old. More interesting behind-the-scenes details can be found in a new Studio Ghibli book by Suzuki, the Ghibli textbook number 19, Tale of Princess Kaguya.
I would be very fascinated to find out more about the behind-the-scenes stuff. Not necessarily the dark shit like that, but just in general, like what it was like working there and just the general process they had. Because with how much amazing art they pull out, I'd love to just see how it all comes together. You know?
Very true. No, very true. I'd be interested in learning more about that too.
Mm-hmm. So Ryan, before we get into the synopsis here, what are your initial thoughts on this film?
Oh my god, the art style again just took my fucking breath away. I'm falling in love with that art style, and I'm really sad that there isn't anything else out there like this. That being said, I found this story resonating with me more than I thought it would.
Ooh.
I was very it unexpectedly touched me and I found myself really engrossed in it, and I found myself. I had planned on watching. I had planned on watching From Up on Poppy Hill right after it, because I was planning on watching both of them in the same day. But I found myself needing to take a moment and just kind of digesting this movie, so I ended up kind of pushing it off to another day, because I needed to digest this one. So it was pretty deep for me.
I'm really looking forward to hearing more thoughts on this from you then.
Yes.
As for me, I will say it is probably one of the most visually stunning Ghibli films, without question. I didn't think you were going to top something like Howl's Moving Castle, or personally, I really still like the art style of like Nausicaa or Princess Mononoke. But this is up there. This is definitely a contender for a gold or platinum level art style. Like it is polished to a mere shine. I love the evolution from Yamato's to this. Like I'd love to know like what inspired him to stick with this, because it works perfectly here. And the story itself is actually very interesting from Japanese folklore. I like that it holds to it pretty well, and it's just a good story that's obviously updated a little bit for modern times, but yeah, it works. It fits. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, with that, I have a synopsis here for you. I was going to say brief, but it looks like it's a little bit lengthy, but I'll try to be brief.
Okay.
A bamboo cutter finds a strange little, like minuscule, girl in a stalk of bamboo. Upon handing it to his wife, it becomes an actual baby. The baby then reenacts the journey of man, sort of, with her aging set to fast forward. We aren't really sure how much time actually passes in the film, but it is implied at least a number of years have gone by the end. Growing up, the young girl gets the nickname Little Bamboo, befriends some local farm kids, and grows up several times faster than any other kid in the block. Which makes some interactions kind of awkward and funny. One kid she gets along with most, Sute Maru, is an older brother figure who turns into a potential lover of that group of friends. The bamboo cutter, the father in this situation, I should probably label that better, as he continued to work, finds gold and fancy textiles in the forest where he found Little Bamboo, and he takes it as a sign from his god, that Little Bamboo is destined for something bigger and better. I'm saying his god because I don't know if it's my god. I'm just going to clarify that, everybody. He takes off to the city and returns with news to the family that they're leaving their farm life to live in a mansion, once and for all. At first, Little Bamboo's excited for the new home, but quickly grows to dislike this fancy life when she can't see her friends or act like the kid she thinks she is. Or, I guess she actually still is. Despite her objections, she does her best to put up a good behavior in front of her adopted father. While in the fancy life, she's trained by Xena. I forgot Lucy Liu's in this. By Xena in the ways of being an elegant princess, which entails doing fuck all and getting married young so you can continue doing fuck all. I do remind everybody that this is a story taking place centuries ago before gender politics were even a thought to an average person. But this film does address them in some fairly reasonable ways, which we'll get to later. Little Bamboo is eventually given the name Princess Kaguya, roll credits, and her father then aims to marry her off to the best man he and or she can find. A parade of suitors ask for her hand without even seeing her. But they're all outdone when 5 of the richest, well-known nobles step up to compete for her hand in marriage. They compare her beauty to legendary beautiful items, and she challenges each one of them to bring back these rare treasures if they actually want to marry her.
Fucking brilliant.
I love that bit.
Brilliant.
The men leave, each debating if this meeting was worth it. Xena also leaves, and everything appears to come up roses for Kaguya. But the 5 men return, kind of. 2 of them return with fake gifts, proving their love is as fake as their gifts. One dies in his quest, another kind of bitches out, it's a little unclear, and a 5th one tries to woo her, taking her back to the countryside, but is shown to only care about her if she's beautiful, and not love her for who she really is. This gets the attention of the Emperor, who is way too handsy and practically tries to molest the poor girl. She ghosts out and threatens to kill herself if her father makes her go through with this. At this point, here comes the Shyamalan twist. Kaguya has been spoken to by voices from the moon. They want to take her back. What? And they're coming for her. The bamboo cutter hires every warrior he can to defend her. But when the Moona Knights arrive, they put everyone to sleep and abduct her fast as you can say, I'll find you. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you. The end of the parents say goodbye. Kaguya's real mom and dad erase her memories of the inferior Earth and whisk her away. She sheds a tear, hinting she'll never forget, and the movie ends. Yeah, a little bit of a downer there. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this movie?
God damn. This movie was really fucking bittersweet. It was super bittersweet, and I loved it. Honestly, I absolutely loved it. I do believe that the twist could have been delivered a bit better.
Oh, actually, I have some stuff for that, but we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think the big takeaway that I got from this movie, and what really kind of stuck with me after I watched it, so long after I watched it, was this idea of the pursuit of happiness, and at the same time also the relationship between the father and daughter, because everything that the dad did
was for her.
Was for her. Like I mean, this dude, he finds all of this gold, seemingly untold amounts of gold that would be enough to actually set up this mansion and buy these servants and get this person to help teach his daughter. Like, but he does all of this, and while yes, they are rising in station, you can tell from everything that he's been doing that it's for her, but it's because of what he thinks will make her happy and what he thinks will, like, she deserves, rather than actually looking for what would actually make her happy, what she wants to do. And her downfall was that she was trying to make her father happy and doing all of these things that made her so unhappy, rather than living for herself and living for her happiness, to look for that. And it was this constant pursuit of the things that should theoretically make everyone happy: money, fame, wealth, just all of these things that on paper lead to a good life. I feel like it's the pursuit of those things that led to her death, essentially, and him losing his daughter, because rather than looking for true happiness, he wanted to get her the things that should make everybody happy.
I want to add to that, too. I think there's a level of expectations that it tries to talk about. I think something that's common for a lot of younger people is the idea of their parents' expectations being put upon them. When it comes to their ability to succeed, whether it's like romantically, whether it's financially, whether it's education. I think that, because I feel like I had experienced it a little bit growing up, where it's just the idea of your parents have done all this stuff for you, and there's these high expectations to succeed for them and everything they sacrificed for you. And I think this film kind of hints at that a little bit, because of how the father is doing all this stuff, going out of his way, and arguably sacrificing a lot that we don't really get to see as much of, in order to try to make her happy. But it's two sides to the story. He's giving up so much, and he wants to make her happy because it makes him happy, but it's not making her happy, and she's faking it, like you said, to make him happy. And there's a level of miscommunication happening. It's a very relatable story that I think anyone of our generation and younger will probably be able to identify with really easily.
Absolutely.
Before I get too deep into this, Ryan, did you know this was actually based on an old Japanese folk fairy tale?
So I saw in the credits, or at least in the beginning credits, that it was based off the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter.
Yep.
So I knew the title of it, but I hadn't heard the story.
The story is, from what I understand, is basically the exact same thing as this. This added a few things, like I said, for more modern audiences, but by and large, the story does seem to be one for one, following the same beats.
Yeah, so you can infer the deeper meaning of the parable, because I like this has a parable feeling to me, where it speaks to those like kind of larger truths, but it sets up the question and gives you the answer within the context of a story, like any good parable.
Well, what's funny too is when I was watching this, we were getting to the tail end of the movie. I think like the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I was doing research for the film, because I'm like, well, let me get a few things copy it over real quick so I can get my synopsis set to go when this is all done. And I get to this part in the reading discussing that this is based on an old folks tale. Because I think I was trying to research, like, what this is based on and, like, what the meaning behind it is. Because at this point I was like, I think I know what the meaning is, but I want to see if there's anything deeper I'm missing. And I'm reading the synopsis of the old folks tale, and it says something about how she's an alien and she's getting brought back to the moon. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Then I look up, and the movie's talking about the exact same thing. And I'm like, did I just miss something? What the fuck? So yeah, that twist came out of nowhere for me. Like, within 30 seconds of me reading about it, I'm like, wait, what?
No, this, like I said, I feel like the twist definitely could have been done a little better.
And then, and then afterward, I did a lot of research to see if there's anything that could have told me this twist is coming. There are a few subtle references, and I'll get to those here very short, unless you want me to jump to those right now.
Well, I mean, she came out of a bamboo stick,
okay,
and she fit the palm of his hand. I'm like, yeah, there's something about this little girl.
Okay. So we'll dive into this real quick, because I think this is worth talking about. So, in order to get the twist, in order to see it coming, you do need to know a little bit of Japanese. Luckily, I researched a bit here for you, so here we go. So, in the beginning of the film, when she's still a little girl, do you remember the animal she was kind of chasing around and playing with?
The frog?
Yep. So that is kind of the foreshadowing a little bit here. So, in Japanese, the word frog is pronounced as make sure I get this right here, kairu, which means frog, but it's also a homophone. It means a couple different things. It means to change, which I think can imply a lot when it comes to Kaguya herself, given she's transforming like super quick overnight almost. The other meaning it means is to return home, which foreshadows the eventual returning of to the moon herself. Not the moon specifically, but that she will return at some point to wherever she came from prior to meeting these old folks. Now, granted, for you and me, it may not seem like it's a big reveal, but for people who know the language and can catch these little visual is it metaphors? No. These visual signpostings, they'll be more apt to be like, okay, I see where this is going, or at least I have an idea of what's going to happen. Plus, on top of that, too, people in Japan grew up with this story, probably. They probably knew what was coming. For us, who've never heard the story in its fullest, it makes sense we would have no idea it's coming. So
yeah, that makes sense. And I got an inkling of like the idea that like she was going to have to return from when she came at some point from the song that the kids would sing, and like she just knew the song automatically for some reason, except it was in like a minor key and it was a very sad rendition when she sang it, and I'm like, and it's like talking about going home, and it's like, if you truly want me to return, like speak my name and I will return from whence I came, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, so she's probably gonna have to leave us at some point, but the idea that she was actually from the moon came out of left field for me.
So I'll admit I'm exaggerating a little bit. She's not specifically from the moon. So it goes to another question I got here, which was, so what do you make? I guess I'll ask the question first, and then I'll go into details to what I'm referring to.
All right.
What do you make of the ending where her memories are essentially taken away?
I personally, while the story element holds true, that, you know, this moon spirit or whatever, what have you, had left to experience Earth and everything therein, and then but found that it had too many sorrows and she really didn't want to be there. So the robe being put on and her forgetting all about it signified an end to the suffering of life, an end to misery, an end to pain. It's a really heavy allegory for me of death, which is why in my mind I'm reading it as this little girl is dying.
And I don't think you're wrong. I think you are hitting most of the right notes. I think there's a few key things you're missing, and I have some stuff to kind of help fill the gaps here, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, please.
Okay, so in Japan, there are two religions that are probably the most popular over there. Shinto, which we've discussed before with Spirited Away and all the different creatures from Shinto being shown in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie tackles Buddhism. And the figures you see from the moon are actually a bunch of Buddhist figures.
You know what? I had an inkling.
And the robe and crown that are used to kind of erase her memories are actually more acting as the Buddhist, I guess, philosophy of letting go of your earthly concerns. Basically, in order to ascend to the higher planes with Buddha and all of the other higher-ups, she has to let go of her earthly concerns. That's sort of what they were doing with those materials there. Basically, she just leaves behind, her family, her material possessions, all that stuff, to ascend to this higher being, this level of enlightenment and nirvana, so to speak. And that's more or less, from what I was reading, what the intent was behind that scene. It comes off as a little bit abducty for us here in America who aren't familiar with Buddhism, but once you see the religious context behind it, it's like, oh, I kind of see where they're going with that there. I think death might still be implied, but it's a more peaceful death than I think what we're giving her credit for.
Yeah, am I being an asshole when I say that I like my interpretation better?
No, I think everyone's allowed to... Ryan, there's a philosophy when it comes to reading into narratives and stuff. It's called Death of the Author. Read it how you want to. I just am looking into all the facts to see all the other details I might be missing.
No, I really appreciate that, and I do. I think, and it's not that I think like that the girl's death is like specifically traumatic or whatnot. What I got out of the ending is that essentially this girl had gone through damn near everything that life had to offer, and towards the end of it, she was experiencing much more bad than good. But when it came time that her time was coming to an end, she was also realizing the good that was inherent within it, and it made her not want to leave. Like, even though she had experienced some of the worst that life had to offer, it was only when she realized that her time was cut short that she did not want to go, that she wanted to accept everything, warts and all, bad and good, at the same time in order to really hold on to life. And it also kind of piggybacks on the idea of like once the time was cut short, everything really important to the main characters in the story came into sharp focus. It was only once the time limit was set that she realized that she wanted to stay with her parents. It was only when the time limit was announced that the dad realized that all he wanted was this little girl's happiness, and that he wasn't trying to do things for himself, but he was blind in his ambition to get her the best that life had to offer. He was blind in what she wanted and what would have actually made her happy. And he only realized his failure when he was about to lose his daughter. So it was really sad. Well, and I was almost crying at the end.
Well, I think
really bittersweet.
I think a Western modern equivalent to this. I mean, it's something that affects everybody all around the world, but I think something that I think you and I can more identify with, given our given the way our lives are over here, is the modern equivalent of cancer, more or less. Like, people have a limited amount of time when they get the diagnosis, and no one knows how to react to it right away. Do you make the most of every day you've got? Do you get your affairs in order? Do you fight it to stay alive and hope that you can beat it? And it puts everything in perspective once you get that diagnosis. I mean, I haven't personally gotten it, but I know plenty of people who have, and it's just a scary thing. I'm almost 30. I'm really hoping I don't get something like that soon. Knocking on wood there. So it's definitely got some connotations of that in there as well, and I think this movie handles it very well. It's something I didn't expect, so I love what they do with it, and it's definitely a contender for a top spot, I think. But I got a few more questions here for you. This next one here is another Japanese-specific thing, and then after that I'm done with those. But I wanted to get those out of the way because I think they're very fascinating.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you want Kaguya to end up with Sute Maru? Why or why not?
Oh, man. Okay. So I did at the beginning. Because I felt like it was like a childhood romance that was kind of blossoming, and it was really nice, like in the moment. And then it shifted into the next act, and she went to the city, and years would pass before she saw him again. And then she saw him like in the street, and of course he got beat up. But then it wasn't till like a decade later when they saw each other again, and she's kind of looking back on her life and realizing that she could have been truly happy had she stayed with him. And no lie, there was a part of me that wanted them, that believed him when he said, "Let's drop everything and run away right now." And there was a part of me that thought it was going to happen. But when it turns out that moon magics happened and it was all a dream, and the little boy that we had seen him with earlier was his son, and the woman with him, his wife, it made me think, wait, so you just told Kaguya that you would straight up ditch your family for her? That's not amazing.
That's not noble and admirable.
That's not real. It's not noble and admirable, but at the same time, I can understand the love behind it. It's not like he was actually trying to take advantage of her. It's just like this girl from the past that he had feelings for, and that has shown up magically. It's like it's powerful. Like, your first love is a powerful thing, and I can completely understand how in the moment he would be that way. But when the story finally confirmed, no, he actually has a family now, it kind of closed the book on it for me personally. It's just like, nope, that's not going to happen. This girl is going back to the moon. There is no saving her.
So, fun Japanese fact here for you, Ryan. And I didn't know this until after reading about it, and I like this fact here. So what do you know about Japanese names?
Not much.
So,
I know they sound...
Well, okay, so a common ending for names, for boys in particular, is Maru. It's basically just like a little, it's kind of like a suffix for names. It's nothing important. It's just kind of like a little, Shikamaru or something like that. A lot of boys' names end with that. So the important part of of his name is Sute, which in Japanese means to be thrown away.
Really?
Yep. So they were subtly hinting for us, and not so subtly for people in Japan, yeah, he's not going to stick around. He's going to get thrown away here pretty soon.
Aww.
It makes it all the more sad.
His name means trash?
Not trash, just Sute is just throw away. So in Japanese, when you end something with a, like te, for a verb, it typically is a command. So Sute would be go throw that away or something like that.
Why would you name your son that? Why? I don't understand.
I feel like if Max or Nicole were here, they'd probably have more to say about that. But from what I read, that's basically what that is. So
I need additional connotation. Why would you name your child the command to throw something away?
Well, remember, Kairu was frog to change and to return home. So Sute,
so there might be more meanings.
There might be more meanings, and that's based largely on what kanji are used to make up a word. So a lot of words may have the same pronunciation, but they might form different kanji depending on what kind of word you're trying to make.
Okay.
So
Pause. To any of our listeners, if you guys have intel on what the possible other meanings of this name are, please hit us up. I really want to know that, because that's kind of boggling my fucking mind. You can make us smarter in the comments below, or email us at evacstation@gmail.com.
I like how he's pimping out the channel, and I didn't have to even prompt him for it. He just is like, I want to do this. Let's make it happen.
No, I need to know. No, I really need to know why you would name your child Throw Away. I need some context, and the listeners might be able to help us out on that.
Probably. Okay, I got a few more questions here for you before we wrap up because I have a trivia I don't want to miss.
I've probably thrown off the entire order that you were going to ask these in. I'm sorry.
It's perfectly fine. I think it's more fun to keep the order fluid. So, okay. Let's see. Skip that. Okay, this is a fun one. So, which of the 5 noblemen/ministers was most hilarious to watch fail? And did you expect any of them to succeed or even bother trying?
I didn't expect that. Like, there was a part of me that was surprised when people tried to, like, when people actually showed up afterwards. Like, all right, I done brought this treasure. And
especially,
shit.
Especially because they say it's like 3 years later, didn't they?
Yeah, it's 3 years, and I'm like, okay, shit, guys came back. I personally loved watching Kaguya figure out a way to really discern their true intentions. Like, each one, she was able to figure out how to see through them. Especially the guy who was supposed to bring back the stone, like, begging bowl of Buddha or something like that, and instead he brought her back like a single daffodil and started spitting the best game I have ever heard in a Studio Ghibli film. I almost wanted to run away with this dude. And you could tell it was working on her, like, oh shit, can we just run away? He knew every fucking thing to say. He knew exactly what she wanted to hear, which was really impressive considering that they had talked for all of 15 seconds. So I was like, shit, this might be the dude. This might actually be the guy. And then he saw her, and she figured it out again. Just like the switch with the old lady was perfect.
I love just how damn clever she is. Like, she really just outdid all of them.
She's amazingly clever. She's amazingly clever. I will say, though, to go on that long tangent, the funniest one for me was also the saddest one.
Is that the dragon one?
No.
Which one are you thinking?
I'm thinking of the guy who fell to his death.
Oh, that one was pretty brutal.
He fell so comically. And I was just like, and he was also like the youngest one of them too. So I was just like, oh, this derp. And then it's just like, yeah, no, he died. I was like, wait, what? Like, he broke his back from the fall. Yeah, he's dead. I was like, holy shit. So it was the quickest double take. But it was also the funniest for me personally, because that was just hilarious.
I appreciate the one that's on the boat trying to get the dragon balls because, well, no, I like it because I love that he's just
Shenron over here.
Well, I love he's seeing dragons everywhere, and it's pretty obvious that they're not really there, but he's like in just full panic mode because of the storm going on. And it's like, yeah, you never had a chance, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I'll applaud him for trying.
I'll applaud him for trying more than anybody else.
He actually looked like he tried. Like everybody else was trying to game it and like paying to make these huge forgeries or like mad game. This dude actually went to search for it.
The guy who died might have tried too. We didn't really get his whole story.
Well, no. I mean, he like I feel like he was definitely trying, but he died. So there's that.
He also failed the hardest.
Yeah, he failed the super hardest. That was just it's so bad.
All right, I got 2 more for you. 3, 2. Oh yeah, we already talked about this one. So yeah, I have 2 more left for you. Okay, next one I think is gonna be funny to talk about. What the fuck is up with the rapey emperor and his pussy grabbing?
This fucking dude, man.
Like, I think it definitely shows the entitlement of the elites. Like, it definitely is trying to, like, be like, yes, these are what the rich people will do if you give them any wiggle room. They will go all out to just take what they can get. Greedy fuck.
Yeah, it was so, like, the sense of entitlement was just insane. Like, it alludes to me the scene beforehand where he commands her to come to court, And, he says, like, if she does, I'll make her father a fucking courtier and he'll, like, move up in rank and what have you. And that's great. And she says to her dad,
I'll kill myself.
Like, no, seriously. Like, if a courtier's crown will make you happy, then I'll do it. And then as soon as I see you with that crown on, I will kill myself. And just threw me for a fucking loop. And that was really the proving point for me that he was really about trying to make his daughter happy. Whereas, like, because even before that, he was talking about, like, refusing the emperor is tantamount to, treason, and they'll kill you for that shit. I can't go back and say no to this person. And when threatened with his daughter's death, he is okay with committing treason. He is okay with that. So I just had to make that brief aside.
Well, what's funny is we were watching this together the other night, and I made the comment that I wish we had seen Jasmine from Aladdin pull this kind of shit, because this would have been awesome to see her, like, just making men go through trials and refusing the most elite emperors of the world, just because, like, no, I don't want to get arranged to be married. I want to do my own thing. Fuck off.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious to see too. But I feel like Jasmine was more outspoken in her unwillingness to be owned by men. Yeah. So that her dad didn't even think to fucking try that shit.
Yeah,
her dad was more like,
he knew his limits.
How about this guy? Are you digging this guy? Maybe. Nope. All right, no, man. Go ahead.
How about that Ali Ababa guy? He seemed pretty cool.
He seemed alright. Cool guy. He has a magic fucking carpet. This shit's boss. Anyway, I'm sorry. We got super off topic.
A little bit.
The idea that the denial made her even more intriguing is so prevalent in current male culture.
In current rape culture, more like it.
Rape culture. Thank you. Nope. Let's call a spade. In current rape culture, yes, that idea is so prevalent. And I originally say male culture because that's how men are brought up. That's how men are brought up in the past.
I think it's changing, but it's a slow change.
I definitely see it changing. But in the very recent past, that's textbook for every guy as they're growing up. They're told, keep on pursuing her, keep being persistent, and she'll see that your intentions are real, and she'll be yours, and then you'll be able to have her as your girlfriend, and da-da-da-da-da.
So before we continue, I want to amend that statement for the young listeners out there who may be trying to seek a young lady of their own and in pursuit of some love or sexual conquest. Persistence is good, because you want to show that you aren't one to just flop over and give up when things get tough. However, you need to know your limit, because when a woman says no, there's probably a good reason behind that, whether because they just broke up, they are already a rape victim, or maybe they're gay, or maybe they just aren't into you. There's a lot of reasons, and you need to know at some point when to quit. That's probably the other important lesson to learn when it comes to pursuing people.
Yeah, I would say persistence in the idea of showing that you're interested despite obstacles is a good thing. Because you're right, you want somebody who's actually going to, like, who actually
puts in the effort.
Puts in effort to be with you. That being said, persistence in the face of outright refusal is bad, straight up. If she says no, let it go and find somebody else. There are literally millions of women out there. If this one person says no, respect it and move on.
And if her refusal bothers you that much, there's internet porn. Just have a night to yourself. Just try to get over it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's also true.
Stormy Daniels is on Pornhub waiting for you right now.
No. I can't think of her without saying the color orange.
All right. Before we get too deep into any more questions, I got one more here for you. which I think we've covered a little bit, but I think I want to get the confirmation, final word on it. What does this film say about feminism and the role of women in noble society?
Ooh. I mean,
I think that Kaguya is a strong feminist character. I think she definitely sticks to her beliefs and her ideals and tries to do good by all of them without being an asshole about it.
When, if I might ask a question before getting into that, when was this movie made?
This movie was made and released in, I have said it earlier, let me scroll back up, 2013.
Okay. So I definitely like the modern kind of elements in the strength of a central female character.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does a good job of balancing the cultural significance of when the story takes place and paying homage to all of that, while also paying homage to just the intrinsic strength of Kaguya, her desire to live life, her desire to be happy, and her desire to not be owned or treated like a possession by any man. So I really like the balance that they strike in that. I definitely would consider her to be a good... I would consider her to be a good feminist character, but also a character that is aware of and bends to societal norms to keep other people happy.
So she's willing and able to compromise.
Right, because she does that for her father.
For the people she cares about, yes.
Yeah, she does that for the people she cares about. When it's just some fuck off noble or the emperor himself, she won't hesitate to be like, bitch, ghost out, I'm gone. Fuck you. Fuck you doing with your hands. But it's her dad, who she loves dearly, she sat down and she subjected herself to shit that she absolutely hated because she wanted to make him happy. And it's just going back to that, the miscommunication between father and daughter, and how both of them came from a desire to want to make the other person happy, and it ultimately led in them losing each other. And it's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
So this movie pulls on my heartstrings because, I mean, not to get amazingly personal, but I'm someone who really wants kids, in the future.
You're preaching to the choir here, buddy.
And so stories about parenthood and about relating to your kids and what you would be willing to do for your children, they really pull on my heartstrings. Hashtag A Quiet Place.
Boy.
But that being said, the art style and everything in this movie was gorgeous, but it was really the father-daughter relationship that really pushed this thing above the edge for me.
I feel like... Yeah. I feel what you mean, too, because I grew up on the father-kid stories from The Simpsons. And while I know that Homer is not an ideal father figure, you have to admit, there are times throughout the series, if anyone's out there watching it, he does try, he does put an effort in it, and when he really does fire on all cylinders, he is a good father. I think the best example of this is when they talk about when Maggie was born. That's still one of my favorite episodes. Holy shit. I can
do it for her.
Oh, God, don't say that. I'm going to tear up. It's so good. Okay, I'm going to switch topics here. But, this definitely is a movie that hits hard, and I think we'll reflect that in our reviews here very shortly.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, I know we're running low, but I have a trivia segment that is very thematic to this, and I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss the opportunity. So,
all right, let's hit it.
All right, this week's trivia is trivia from the moon.
Oh shit!
I have a bunch of moon-related questions, Ryan. I'm going to see if you can figure them all out. Here we go with question 1. What creatures are known to come out on a full moon?
Werewolves?
That's correct. Question number 2.
Hey!
There are 3 astronauts credited for being the first men on the moon. Who are these 3 men?
Oh, fuck.
I imagine you get one of them at least.
Well, I know Neil Armstrong.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure Buzz Aldrin has been to the moon.
He was on that mission as well.
The first.
He was on the mission as well, yep.
Oh, he was on the mission as well. Okay,
yep.
so
the third one I've never heard of, so if you don't get it, I won't be surprised.
I have no idea that there was a third name in contention. So
Michael Collins.
Who?
Exactly.
Phil's older brother? Alright.
Alright, next one. In card games, what does the phrase "shoot the moon" mean?
Ah, fuck. I've heard this, but I've never played the game that's associated with, so I can't hold it in my head. What the fuck was it called?
I'll give you a hint.
I feel like it's Jin. Is it Jin?
It might be, but I've most notably seen it with Hearts.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea. What does that mean?
It means to achieve the lowest or highest score possible, such that a player is usually rewarded some bonus points.
Okay.
Yeah, in Hearts, if you get the absolute possible lowest score, you end up actually getting like a full 30 points, and I think that puts you ahead of everybody else.
But...
Okay, next one. There are some who don't believe the moon landing was real, Ryan. Do you know which filmmaker is often credited as the one who filmed the fake moon landing?
Oh, shit.
I think we've discussed his name once before, but I don't think we've done his movies yet.
Okay, it was, it's 1960s?
There's some Phil fans out there who... Which one?
Spielberg?
Spielberg might be a little too young for that still.
Was he a little young?
A little young. This is actually his buddy, Stanley Kubrick.
Really?
There's actually a
A Space Odyssey.
There's actually an entire documentary in regards to The Shining, which hints at all these different clues he left in the movie to indicate that he's admitting through his movie that he did fake the moon landing. It's
my God.
It's a bullshit documentary that I want to check out one of these days. It sounds so dumb. Alright, next one. The Earth has a rotation speed of 1,000 miles per hour. How fast do you think the moon rotates, Ryan?
This was just on an episode of Because Science. God damn it. Fuck. I just watched the episode about Thanos throwing the fucking moon, and God damn it. I don't know. I don't know the number off my head.
That would be 10 miles per hour.
Really?
It's pretty slow.
God damn.
Alright, this next one I think you'll get. In the Dragon Ball franchise, how many times is the moon destroyed, and who destroys the moon on these occasions?
There's something about the moon that triggers the Ozaru shift, right?
Yep.
God damn it. I'm not up on my DBZ knowledge. I really am not.
I'll give you the number of times. You have to guess who the people are.
All right.
The moon's been blown up twice. Which I thought was surprising. I thought it was going to be more than that.
Okay, so if my knowledge is correct, Saiyans transform to Ozaru in the light of a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
So the moon being blown up would be to reverse an Ozaru shift. So I'm gonna say that one was done by Goku to stop Gohan from transforming. And The other would have been done by somebody else to stop Gohan from transforming, I'm going to guess.
You just said Gohan twice.
No. The first one I said was done by Goku to stop Gohan from transforming.
Okay.
Yes. The second one was done by someone to stop Goku from transforming.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess... Roshi's strong, but I don't think he's blow up the moon strong. Or maybe it was done by Goku both times, and the first one was to stop Vegeta. I'm going to say Goku both times, because that makes sense.
You were close on one of them. So, when you said Goku to stop Gohan, you were right about the reason, but it was Piccolo, his real dad, who did it.
Of course there was!
And then the first
Goku would have been like, no, he's super strong now. Just let him be like that.
And the first time was actually by Master Roshi. You were really close.
What?
Yep, he blew it up when Goku was transforming.
Damn, okay. So Roshi was actually blow up the moon strong. Okay.
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
I mean, he was swole, and he could do the Kamehameha wave, but I didn't think he could blow up the moon. Okay.
Alright, I've got 2 more weird moon questions for you. Number 7 here. In 1959, the first spacecraft to fly over and take pictures of the moon was known as Luna 3. Who launched this spacecraft?
NASA.
Nope. That would actually be the Soviet Union.
Really?
They beat us to that, yep.
They beat us. The Ruskies, they beat us.
I do believe they actually beat us into space, but we beat them to the moon. Is how the story goes.
Oh, okay. That's why I thought it was NASA who did it first.
Yep. Alright, last question, Ryan. In Pokemon, there are 6 Pokemon that evolve with the Moonstone. How many can you name?
Okay. Let's see. Jigglypuff.
1.
Clefairy.
2.
Fuck. Oh. Wait, did Eevee get a Moonstone evolution?
Nope.
No.
That would be cool, though. Especially with, that should be the fairy type evolution. That should have been it.
That's what I thought it was. No, you get fairy type from being friends with Adventure.
I think so, yeah.
Or some silliness.
Yep.
Shit. Okay. Moonstone, Ryan. I know there's a Pokemon that's shaped like a moon.
But I don't think that's... I think I know which one you're talking about, and that's not it.
Yeah, I don't think that's it either. I think it just, like, evolves normally. Fuck. Are we counting the evolved forms, or am I trying to guess 6 base level Pokemon that evolve?
They're not all base level, but you are guessing the ones that evolved with the Moonstone to their next form. I'll give you a hint. 2 of the remaining 4 are still Gen 1 Pokemon.
So Fairy, Jigglypuff. Chansey? No, Chansey didn't evolve for a while. Wait, but Chansey does evolve into Blissey. I don't think...
That's not it either.
No.
You want to throw in that towel? Mr. Mime? Nope.
Doesn't evolve at all. Well, he has a baby form, but that just evolves normally. Same thing with Jinx. Fuck. No, I give up. I suck at Pokemon. Alright, let me hear them.
Alright, so you got Clefairy and Jigglypuff. The other 4 were Nidorino and Nidorina.
Fuck me! Oh, that makes me
I knew when you missed those, you were gonna kick yourself for those.
Oh.
The other 2 are from Gen 3 and Gen 5. They are Skitty and Moona.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have got those.
I figured you wouldn't have gotten those. I thought you were going to get at least the first 2.
Nidorina and Nidorina! Nido Queen and Nido King! I forgot they used the Moonstone!
You wouldn't think it looking at them, but yeah, they do.
Yeah, they were so boss. Oh, that makes me sad. All right, I hand in my '90s kid card. I am a failure.
That was a fun little round of trivia. I like it when you can do a theme like that. It's good. Alright, so that is all for our podcast. Let's get on to our final segment, which is the wrap-up, where we discuss where we rank the film. We're going a little long, so I won't get too many details going. I'm just going to say, click the link down below if you want to know what our rankings mean and how a film gets them. Ryan, where would you rank this film? I think I know where we're both sitting on this one, probably.
God damn, this movie, I thoroughly loved it. I think there's only one thing. There's honestly only one thing that's keeping me from giving it a platinum, and I'm still not sure if it's big enough to keep me from saying straight up it's a platinum. And it's just that the twist kind of came out of nowhere. It's just that the twist kind of came out of nowhere, and I want to say that part of that, like, I can accept that part of that was due to essentially
not being
cultural,
Japanese,
cultural mistranslations, or like things being lost in translation based on the culture, and us not being super well versed in Buddhism and what have you. But the idea that I cried out to the moon, and the moon said, "All right, it's time for you to come home," and now I have to leave in 15 days. That kind of came a little out of left field. I was accepting the fact that she was magical in some form because she was quite obviously fucking magical, and I could accept the premise that her time on this place had come to an end, definitely, and that being a big allegory for death. But the idea that, well, people from the moon are coming to take me, kind of came out of left field.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's big enough to keep me from saying it's a platinum fucking movie, because everything else aside from that was fucking stunning.
Well, okay.
And you know a movie's amazing when you sit down and you just have to think about it for a while afterwards. You don't turn anything else on, you just kind of sit there with it and digest it. And I had to do that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Maybe it'll help me land on it.
Honestly, so when I went into this movie, I had low expectations, and not because I hated it from the get-go. It's just that I remember from the Yamadas, the art style, and I remember the director and his previous works, and the only previous work I remember him being, and the other previous work of his that I held up on a pedestal is Grave of Fireflies, which is a platinum. And so I had to think to myself, after everything's said and done, is this on the level of Grave of Fireflies? Does this change some fundamental way that one could think? Does it have any kind of impact emotionally that could reasonably ask you to look deeper within yourself after seeing the events of the film? And I honestly think that it does, because, like I said, it asks about it has feminist ideals in it. It has it has a very smart, clever character in it. It has the concept of living up to the legacy of your parents and what they leave behind for you. It asks questions about expectations given to you as you grow up, and it asks about your own happiness versus the happiness of those around you and what matters most to you. And I think this film, while not answering a lot of these questions 100%, I think, like Death Note, it doesn't answer every question, but it does put the questions out there for you to ruminate on. And I think that is something a platinum level film does do. And I think that I would be comfortable giving it that rank, probably. And while I do agree, structurally, the ending does come out of left field for us gaijin over here, I will say that I at least respect the fact that it's sticking to the lore of its original fairy tale, Japanese fairy tale specifically. And I think that there's something to be said that it could translate that old text from fucking 500 AD to something in 2018 and have it be as well received as it is. So, kudos to them on that one, at least.
Alright, yeah, you sold me. Yeah, fucking platinum. I like my hesitance was small at best. I was just trying to figure out if giving it a platinum was giving it a little too much accolades, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It spoke to a lot of real core ideals, like the idea, like the relationship between father and daughter, what it means to actually pursue happiness as opposed to the things that will make you materialistically happy, and how one kind of leads to the destruction of self and the other would lead to you actually living, and that the purpose of life is to live and to enjoy life and to love others. And yeah, no, fucking platinum. It's a platinum movie. God damn, you did it. All right.
So I want to just point out to everybody right now, the score right now is one Miyazaki film has a platinum and 2 Takahata films have a platinum. Didn't expect that, actually, going into this. But no, this is really good, and it definitely deserves the credit it gets. And I'm looking forward to seeing the next few films. I think Miyazaki has one more left before we're done with the season. And then I think there's one more he's working on currently, which when it comes out, we will talk about it, because I think it'll be worth talking about.
Definitely.
So we're running a little long. I want to thank everybody for listening this far. Next week, Ryan, we're recording a couple of different things, but these fine people, will be listening to us talk about The Wind Rises.
All right. I'm excited to see that one.
Yep. And again, you can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and also get to us with emails at evacstation@gmail.com, where you can send us questions, comments, your feedback on stuff. You can ask Ryan personal questions if you like and see if he'll answer them. Maybe we'll read him on the show and he'll tell you about his underwear size. Who knows?
I mean, it's gone down, so...
So thank you for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye!